Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. What a day. Hopefully the storm that's going your way, if you're in the east and you're up and it's going your way, I hope things are going your way and not the way of, let's just say, it's. I know it's crazy out there for some of you. So I will pray for you and for what good it does. Apparently there weren't enough prayers to stop the storm from hitting, but maybe there'll be enough prayers to stop the storm from hitting you hard. That's what I'm talking about. So bless you, my children. So those of you who are joining us on the West Coast, what the fuck are you doing up at 6 a.m. to watch me? Catch it on the replay. Or if you're there, you know what the hell, just give us a shout out. That's all I'm talking. Give us a shout out. Sure, you can do that. Use the magic of the internet or the magic of the what's that thing called? The computer or your phone. Just give us a call, or the chat thing. That's it. There's a comment thing. You can use your comments. So now, brothers and sisters, let us begin, as always, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck a yeah? Yeah. All right. Heaven have mercy on us. Yesterday I was noticed. Oh, before I do that, let me hit an opening prayer, because that's what people come here for. They come here for the opening prayer and the closing prayer. They stop watching the 52 minutes between those two. So it's okay. I understand. I've been there. So dear Lord, yesterday was January 6th. The third anniversary of the attack on our Capitol at the behest of the beast, Donald Trump. Now, since I know you don't take the word beast lightly, Revelations and all, I don't mean it as an antichrist. I mean it as an antichrist-like. It seems that the people who are doing the most harm are doing it in your name. They need Jesus in their life the most. Can I get a rim shot? Finally, this is a short prayer. Because got a lot to cover today. Finally, Mind Dog Coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I put a little bump in it for the Lord. On days like this, when there's a bunch of snow and shit outside, I put another bump for the shovel and for the guy. Or actually, I don't shovel my own drive. Someone else shovels my driveway. I got other shit I got to do, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. So a bump for the people out there plowing the snow. And clearing the roads for us, a little bump for them. Yes, indeed. And if you're doing your own, a bump for yourself, because I know that shit ain't easy. That's why I don't do my own. I have my landscaper and gardener, G.D. Fenderson. He does all that shit for me. I do not. You are not going to see this collar and this jacket out in that snow shoveling anything at all. I don't even work that hard for a collection plate. I got ushers to do that. See, now I apologize. I should have asked for blessings for the behind the scene crew, because although they had last week off, and Lord knows I could have used them, because I didn't know as much as I thought I knew about running this shit. That's okay. I caught up. Just took a bit of work and a bit of encouragement. So and those of you out there who are encouraging me, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Lord have mercy. So bless our crew, our behind the scenes crew, because they are indeed doing the Lord's work. I'd be lost without them, which I demonstrated before and will demonstrate again. So I'm looking for my comments. I can't find my comments. That's okay. I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna fly by the seat of my pants. And my pants are wide, 42 inches. That's not circumference. That's just the width. That's 42 inches. That's why you never seen the bottom half of me on this show, because the camera only goes out so wide, and the rest of me is like this, whoosh, like that. So, Lord have mercy. Now, I had a friend of mine, a member of the church, a young lady. I was trying to get her permission to talk about use her name in the thing, and I was unable to do that, so I can't use her name. But she had to put down her dog after like 18 years she's had him. And she's like a traveler. She's like a world traveler. She travels all over the place. She had an RV that she used to drive all over the country. All over the country. She would have driven all over the world if there was a way to do it. And she took that little dog with her everywhere she went. That dog is probably one of the most well-traveled dogs I'd ever seen in my life. And he probably had like no idea. Like Grand Canyon is a good spot to pee. Look at those redwood oaks. Look at those oak trees. Good place to pee. California, that's the place you want to pee if you're young enough to remember the Beverly Hillbillies. California was Beverly Hills is the place you want to be pee. Anyway, that dog has pissed everywhere, and that's a good thing if you're a dog. If you're pissing all over the country, that's a good thing. It means you're well traveled. All the other dogs smell your scent, and they know that you get around. You know what I'm saying? And deep down in your heart, you're pissing all over the country, and all these other dogs are going like, man, this dog gets around. It's all I get is like to walk on a leash and smell the scent of this dog, and I can pick up his scent, and he's from North Carolina. Son of a bitch. The little dog is from Asheville. But that dog has been all over the place, all up and down the coast, east and west. And like I said, doing what a dog ought to be doing, pissing on things. That's what dogs are supposed to be doing. Dogs. Not people. And not politicians. See, and I bring this up because yesterday was January 6th. And that day it just boggles the mind. Not just what happened on that day and the reasons it happened, but also boggles the mind because the shit continues to happen. And that's just absolutely insane. So think about children, if you have to. You don't have to think about children, don't. But for the sake of this discussion, and I call it a discussion, but it's not really a discussion because there is no discourse. It's just cushion. There's no dis. It's just cushion. So You think about children, when they're small, their minds and their worlds are being shaped by adults. Okay, and they're being told all kinds, depending on the cultures, they're being told all kinds of bullshit that they don't realize is bullshit until they get a little bit older, and maybe another child who's figured it out, or a parent, or well, by accident, they find out that the stuff they believed in was bullshit. And they have two choices. If they have other kids around them who still believe the bullshit, they can tell them, no, that's bullshit. Or they can pretend that they still believe in the bullshit because they don't want to upset their friends. But if they're really your friends, you want them to know that's bullshit. And you'll risk it. You'll risk that friendship. I know that because people say, well, why don't you have any friends? I do have friends. I have 3. The rest of them got rid of me because of I called their bullshit or they called mine. But if you call my bullshit, I don't really care. So I'm not going to drop you as a friend. Call my bullshit. Go ahead. I'll wait. Call me. Call my bullshit. See? And you're still there. And I did not drop anybody because I don't care. You know, everybody's got a little bit of bullshit. I got a little bit. You got a little bit. The thing is, we understand that and accept it. But we don't punish you. Reasonable people like myself, I'm not going to punish you if you don't believe in my bullshit. I'm just going to say we have different beliefs. Let's finish that doobie, joint, hot, edible, whatever your leaf of choice is. So, children, at some point, if they're smart, well, stop believing in Santa Claus or Easter Bunny, the boogeyman, that kind of shit. And some kids will hold a grudge against their parents for telling them that lie. And say, Mom, Dad, why didn't you just tell me the truth that you were working your ass off to get me all those gifts? Or Mom, Dad, why didn't you tell me that it was you putting the money under my pillow when my tooth fell out? You know, or Mom, Dad, why didn't you tell me that little kid down the street is my half brother because one of you was fucking around? Or why do I have to find out when I'm old enough to start dating and you told me don't date that girl? You know, not that happened to me, but it happened to somebody, especially in Kentucky. But it's happened. The thing is, you don't have to lie to your kids. And when they get old enough to understand lie, what do they do about it? Do they accept it? Do they forgive the liars? Do they call the liars out? Or do they pass the lie on? See, some kids find out there's no Santa Claus, grow up to become adults, have kids of their own, and then tell their kids that same lie. And then that kid has to figures out one day that there's no Santa Claus or no boogeyman or no tooth fairy. And then they propagate, or is it an impropagate? I think it's an impropagate because you're opening up more lies. That's why I think it's an impropagate. A propagate, you wouldn't be opening up and having those lies. So that's the difference between a propagate and an impropagate when you're dealing with your lies. And you can, I understand that some of you are getting a little bit lost, because I'm using the bigger words like the propagate and impropagate. And myself being an etymologist, that's when you've studied the origins of words. Etymologist, we study the origins of words, but when you go to use those words, it sounds like you have a mouthful of pastries. That's what an etymologist is, and I'm an etymologist. Kids, when they're out there, they're just hopefully they at some point they stop telling the lies to the other kids so they can grow up with a better grasp of the truth and reality. But sometimes it's hard for them, and you tell them there is no tooth fairy. And they say, but I got proof there's a tooth fairy. I used to put my teeth under the pillow and there was money when I woke up. that's proof that there's a tooth fairy. They said, did you see the tooth fairy? Well, no, because they're a fairy. You're not supposed to see them. See, and then they keep justifying it. Even after you tell them the truth, they start twisting their little pretty little heads with logic, trying to figure it out, going, but this must be real because I heard it from somebody who I thought would never lie to me. See, and every person lies. It's just a matter of how we lie and why we lie. But yesterday was January 6th, the anniversary of when our nation's capital, if you're watching us in the United States and or its territories, our capital was attacked. And with hundreds and hundreds of people, well, thousands on the outside, but hundreds and hundreds of people on the inside, breaking shit up, disrupting the orderly transfer of power, you know? And those of you who've been through divorces, I think you get this. I think you will understand this, because I myself have been through a divorce. I've been through a divorce. And there was a transfer of power, okay? In our case, when the marriage was over, I peacefully agreed to leave the house and bought my own house. You know, I said, you keep your house, you go your way, and I'll go mine. It's a peaceful transfer of power. And I didn't ask her who was going to be next in line to succeed me. Did not care. None of my business. I was voted out. And so, in a nutshell, that this is the short version. I was voted out. That's not what really happened. What really happened was that bitch was crazy, and I had to get out. I had to fucking escape. But for the purpose of the story, I have to tell it in a different way. But some other day, with some more drink, I'll tell you the real story, the other story. But what I'm telling you is true. I left willingly. Did not go around disturbing shit, breaking shit up. I did not go back in the middle of the night trying to break back into the house, trying to get more shit or take more shit or just break shit up to make her life miserable. I didn't do that. And those of you who have been through divorces appreciate that. They say, look, I just want a clean break. I just want this shit over with. And I just want to go on with my life. And that's what we should have been able to do 3 years ago in January, when there was should have been a peaceful transfer of power. We should have had that divorce without the craziness. We should have had that divorce without the nuts. We should have had that divorce without people breaking into your house, breaking shit up. But that's not what happened. What happened was, when Donald Trump left, he was pissed. Actually, he hadn't left yet. He had like 2 weeks left. This is January 6th. He's done on the 20th. That's it. At noon. See, that's the Constitution. You lose the election, you're done at noon, January 20th. Boom, you get on the helicopter and you get the fuck out of there. And that's it. And you do your little salute, or you pull your pants up, whatever it is, but you do it peacefully and you get gone. You get going, and the next guy is sworn in, and in this case it was Joseph R. Biden. That's it. So why didn't Trump want to leave? He didn't want to go to jail. That's all. He's just trying to avoid jail. He knew he was a criminal, but that's beside the point. It doesn't matter why somebody doesn't want to leave. The thing is, they should leave. They know they should leave. They just don't want to leave. They're like a little fucking kid in the amusement park, and the place is closing up. The rides are shutting down, and they're saying, sorry, kids, you got to go. And instead of walking out with their parents, who brought them there in the first place, they sit there and they just start ranting and raving crazy. Now, a good parent would beat the shit out of that little child and drag his ass out of there anyway. Say, the park is closing. I'm not staying here. Let's go. Now, here's the deal. Instead of leaving peacefully, he riled up as many people as he could for as many weeks as he could and said, let's not go peaceful into that good night. He said, let's fuck it up for everybody. We can't have our way, so no one's going to have their way peacefully. And it was caught on video. And see, this is the tricky part. When you tell a child there is no Santa Claus or no boogeyman or no Sandman or Easter Bunny, usually you don't have to show them a video. You know, you don't have to be shown a video. You show them the evidence, and it may hurt their feelings, but they'll see. I don't think there are any kids out there in their 30s, children in their 30s, who still believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. They may lie to their children and say that there is one or two of those things, but they themselves do not believe, but they act like they have to so that they can keep control over their kids. And that's what Donald Trump and his friends are doing. They know they lost, but they need to keep control over their minions. So they tell that lie, and their children, their minions, who think like children, believe the lie too. Now, why do they want to believe that lie? They've seen the evidence. Even a child, when shown the evidence, will go, oh, I get it. The smart kids will, eventually. 80% of those kids will get it. Now, but what about that 20%? See, this is the thing. This is why I got a C in economics when I was in college. Because they teach you this thing called, not yet. I was ready to grab the board. They teach you this thing in college, in economics, and statistics, as a matter of fact, in statistics. I say statistic because that was my professor, the way he said it, and actually liked my professor so much that there are some words that I would say just like he said it, just because I felt, like I said, it was Dr. Chen, and I would say it. Well, I called him, yeah. Was it Dr. Chen or Dr. Prokochek? Yeah, it was Dr. Chen. Dr. Chen was a real doctor. He had a PhD. Dr. Prokochek was not a real doctor, but I called him doctor because I respected him so much. And he would remind me, I'm not a real doctor. Why you keep calling me doctor? I said, because I respect you, Dr. Prokochek. And he goes, I'm not a Dr. Prokochek. He goes, just Mr. Prokochek. And I went, he's doctor to me. So, but it wasn't like I believed he was a doctor. I just respected him so much that I called him doctor. But Dr. Chen was a real doctor. He was a PhD in statistics. So, and I got an A in his class in statistics, like straight up numbers and interpretation, straight up numbers. But economics, you're discussing behavior of people. You know, talk about supply and demand, but not just supply and demand, but why people do the supply and demand. And so I got to see, because even though I got all the formulas right, I got all the math right, I didn't agree with their theories. And I came up with my own theories, which bumped up against their theories, but I had good arguments for my theories. So that's what they told. They told me, we can't fail you because you disagree with us, but your theories, although argued well, they bump up against traditional thinking. Here's the deal. I maintain that no matter what the issue, 20% of the people are going to, 20% of people are going to believe anything, and they're going to believe it hard. You look at Donald Trump's numbers. Some of those people really don't give a shit about his issues, his politics. They don't care. about 20% of the people, give or take, plus or minus 3%, want to just fuck things up, period. They just want to fuck things up for you, period. And as long as they're getting a good excuse to do it, they're happy to do it. So they'd be anarchists in their neighborhoods. They'd be anarchists in the bathroom. If it was just them and the toilet, they'd find some way to clog it because they just like anarchy. So that's 20% of the people. And regardless of what happens, that's what they're going to do. They just want to fuck things up. That's why those people will never leave Donald Trump, because they've got somebody who gives them cover for their hatred and ignorance and their desire to fuck things up. And no matter how many times they see the video, they're not going to, like, I don't believe it. I think that was Antifa. I think that was FBI doing it. So let's pretend for a moment that those people doing the writing really were Antifa. We know how Donald Trump feels about Antifa. Now, those people are in jail. They've pled guilty. They're in jail. Why would Trump say, I'll pardon them if they weren't really his people as opposed to Antifa? If they were Antifa, he'd let the motherfuckers rot. You see what I'm saying? Because he has no love for Antifa. He has no love for Black Lives Matter. He has no love for the military, for soldiers, military. No love. He calls them suckers. And there was another word, but suckers was one of them. You know, so why would he pardon people that he admittedly has no respect for or no use for? That's if you're thinking logically. So, and that's another puzzling thing. How is it that these people can hold two thoughts in their head at the same time when it comes to conspiracies? Biden is an idiot and an evil genius at the same time. See, they can hold those two thoughts in their head at the same time, but they can't hold two logical thoughts in their head at the same time. You know, that maybe Trump is a liar, and he is a scam artist. You know, he can be a scam artist and a former president, sure. Why do they keep giving him their money? And they know what the money's for. The money is for his attorneys. Who needs that many attorneys? How many people do you know who have broken the law or accused of breaking the law so many times? They have to have like hundreds, tens of millions of dollars a year in attorney's fees. I mean, think about the 20 years that the Clintons were dragged around being investigated for everything from traffic tickets to suicide pacts to dancing cults. No, cults. C-U-L-T-S, not colts, like horses. They wouldn't be investigated for dancing horses. That's an Olympic event. If you have a dancing horse in the Olympics, yeah. If you have a dancing horse, that's one thing. If you have that's a colt, C-O-L-T-S, those are okay. But if you have a dancing cult, C-U-L-T-S, that's not the same thing. The point is, they've been investigated for everything. From having, and matter of fact, they probably were investigated for having dancing horses. You know, considering the people who were investigating them, sure, why not? Why the fuck not? Why not investigating for that? The thing is, I think in the 20 years or 30 years that the Clintons were being dragged through the courts, I think they spent $12 on attorneys. That's it, $12, and they weren't ever convicted of anything for $12 on attorneys' fees, $12, and they also had an account at LegalZoom, I think. LegalZoom and $12 in attorney's fees. Okay, and the attorney company, it was called We Cheatham and Howe. That's it. Real small firm. The Clintons didn't have to spend, and they didn't. No indictments. No, that's it. A blowjob. That's what they got. A blowjob, and it was only one of the Clintons that got that. So, yeah, The point is, in 3 years, Trump has acquired 91 charges and 4 indictments and tens of millions of dollars in legal fees. And who's paying for it? The people he tried to deny their rights. The people he's hurting, the people he lied to, the people who going, that's our man. He's the one who's going to save us from ourselves. Because that's the truth. He's just trying. You're the danger. It's not progressives. Progressives couldn't take your guns if they wanted to. How are they going to take them with what? Saying please give me a gun. Liberals aren't going around taking guns. Half of them have guns. They're not very powerful guns. You know, they're probably like zip guns and little cute guns that fit in their wrists, like in the Wild Wild West, like this. And James West said, "Oh, you don't know about the Wild Wild West? Damn it." Okay, back in the day, there was a show called The Wild Wild West. You should Google it. Not the movie with Will Smith. Lord have mercy. And it's not that I have a problem with Will Smith playing an imaginary hero like James West, or having Kevin Kline playing Artemis Gordon. I don't care about that. It's just that the Wild Wild West was supposed to be a little bit campy. And you can accept campy back in the 70s or 60s when that was on the air. But by the time Will Smith did it, they didn't do campy well. They were caught up, you know. So go back to the original series, you know, and little 22-minute into segments. They're much better show. And it's nothing to do with Will Smith. Nothing personal. It's just personal. And then when I say nothing personal, when I say it's nothing personal, but it's personal, what I'm saying is I do not personally know Will Smith. I do not personally know Will Smith. And so therefore, I don't care whether he's the actor or not. It's not personal. I don't know Will Smith, but it's personal because my taste is personal. And my personal taste, which I shouldn't have to say my personal, because once I say personal, it's mine. Okay? That's it. I own it once I say personal. So when I say it's not personal, it's personal, I don't know Will Smith. Just a matter of principle, I think the original Wild Wild West was better. That's all. And because it's emotional too. I used to come home from school and watch Wild Wild West. You know. Doom, 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 doom. I think, was that Wild Wild West? No. Sorry. I can't remember. I have to, it was really neat. And even the beginning, the beginning, they had these little scenes that looked like cartoons and it's really neat. Yeah, you have to Google it. You have to Google it. And I don't know how I got on the Wild Wild West, but how did I get on Wild Wild West? I have no idea because I haven't looked at the paper since I stopped. Here's the deal. There are people still celebrating January 6th as if it was some kind of really, really good thing. And it was not a good thing. It was a horrific thing. But it was a moment in history that we should never forget. And whenever we get a chance to discuss it honestly, like adults, we should. We should revisit the videos and see the carnage and the hatefulness that was up there. But being a holiday, so to speak, day of celebration for some, day of remembrance for others, there are gift cards. They're not gift cards. There are cards. These are from the archive. I have some cards from the archives of Politipod. You can Google Politipod. These are from their archives, and I have permission to use them. The company, these cards are all these cards here are from the Halls Marked with Excrement collection. Yeah, the Halls Marked with Excrement collection. And just pardon me for 1 second, because my water's over there and my camera's over here. I need my water. I'm gonna keep talking to you, just so you know that see, this is me. I'm still here. Woo! It's magic. It's magic. I just had to get my water because I'm sorry, getting a little choked up. Thank you. Now, like I said, these cards are from the archives of Politipod, and they're from the Halls Marked with Excrement collection. This card here. Please accept this card in remembrance of January 6th. They ran out of podiums. Merry Insurrection. See? And that's the guy carrying Nancy Pelosi podium off. I don't know. I don't remember what that guy's name is. But that's never happened before. We've never had people storming the Capitol and just running off with shit. Usually the people who steal shit are the aides, you know, their last day they're leaving, or maybe former congressmen and senators, they leave and they take a little, they take their name tag, their little thing off their desk, little trinkets like that, ashtrays, maybe a toilet seat or something, because, you know, someone else sat on it. You know, I know like there's like Matt Gaetz, little kinky little motherfucker. I know Matt Gaetz when he watches, and when AOC or Margaret or Boebert uses the ladies' room, when they're done, he runs in right afterwards and grabs that toilet seat. He's got a collection of toilet seats that women sat on in his office. I know it. Have I seen it? Of course not. But do I know it? With all my heart. He's just that fucking kinky. So, what's he do with those toilet seats? I don't know. But that's beside the point. Here is another card here. This one is thousands were there, hundreds were caught. $3 I just spent on this card that I bought. And it says, Happy Insurrection Anniversary. And that's a picture of, that's a mock-up of Donald J. Trump holding a card for treason in the orange jumpsuit. Of course, we know that's not his real mugshot. We've seen his real mugshot. You know, where he gets all dolled up and tries to look tough. You know, like, I'm really proud to be in an Atlanta jail getting fingerprinted. And he's not. Would you enjoy it? Of course not. But what did he do right after that? He went to his his followers, and he says, they indicted me. Like it's a proud thing. That is, I do have to give him credit for that. He can make money off of anything. Well, that's how should I put it? Because he gets a lot of money, but he just is a terrible businessman. He's filed for Chapter 11 or 13 7 times. No, I don't get those numbers right, because I don't know if he's like filed for Chapter 7 13 times, filed for Chapter 11 7 times, filed for Chapter 11 7 times, or Chapter 13 11 times, or Chapter 11 13 times, or Chapter 11 and 13 7 times. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. The fact is, the man just leaks money. He gets $1. He gets $1 and 9 fall out of his back pocket. He just is a terrible, terrible, terrible businessman. And that's why he has to find new ways to grift. Okay? Terrible businessman. But they believe that but he sold them. Technically, it wasn't him. It was Mark somebody who set up this whole thing about The Apprentice. And they needed Donald Trump to be a successful businessman for the show. And the behind the scenes notes were how Trump had like this one little office. Literally, I think his office was not much bigger than mine. And if I turned this camera around, you go like, holy shit. Is this the Reverend's office? Or is the Reverend's office this little corner and the rest of that belongs to some comedian who is like very creative and a little bit crazy? The point is, that's what Donald Trump's office looked like. It was just a one-man shop. And this guy, Mark, whatever his last name is, you can Google it. I don't feel like it right now. As a matter of fact, I could Google it, but here's the deal. I put a new screen thing on my phone, and you probably can't see it, but there's like a line here and a line there. It's not laying flat on my phone, and it's a real pain in the ass. See, nothing's happened. You see how hard to keep it? That's what the glass isn't making full contact, and so it's a pain in the ass for me to use my phone this morning. It's just a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. It hurts. It hurts. Okay, sorry. Now, here's another card. Again, these are from the Politipod archives. These are from the archives of Politipod from the halls marked with excrement collection. This card here. GOP's red, Dems are blue. Congratulations on your first attempted coup. Happy anniversary. So, they're going to be, I don't know. I don't know what your mailbox looks like. Mine gets full of, because I don't have a particular political leaning, because I'm a independent, and when I research things, I go to all kinds of crazy places to research. I get emails from both Democrats and Republicans and Libertarians. So I guess that's not both. From all three, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and Green. Okay, it's 4. I get requests for money from a lot of different parties because they can't tell where my political leanings are because they don't know what I'm going to just yell about. So I get emails from all kinds of people who want me to give money to all kinds of things. And guess what? I'm not doing it. You know, I haven't given money to the Biden campaign or the Trump campaign or now I did. I was almost ready to donate money to Chris Christie. But I was going to wait because here's the deal. I have donated money to lesser candidates before, thinking to help them out so they can get their word out because, you know, there needs to be a reasonable voice out there about some things, not everything. I don't agree, believe me, I don't agree with Chris Christie on a lot of stuff, except for the fact that he was going after Trump. But he's not catching fire, and my $50 isn't going to help him. Now, if there's a bunch of other people thinking the same way, maybe that's why he's fucked. But he had no chance of winning anyway. That's beside the point. And I forgot why I brought that up. It probably had something to do with raising money in cards and stuff like that. And I don't remember, but I'll figure it out later on. So, here's another card here. Is that a flagpole in your hand or are you happy to beat me? Happy J6. Yeah. This picture here, this marks the first time that the Confederate flag has been in the halls of Congress. In the years, I mean, we fought a civil war. You know, the White House had been, well, that's not the White House. This is halls of Congress. But the White House had been burned down before. You know, the Capitol had been attacked before. You know, by foreigners and by citizens, quote, well, I guess once you defect and secede from the Union, you're no longer a citizen. So what? The Confederates. But they never had their flag even fucking close to being in the halls of Congress. But this is a proud moment for them. And why? Why? First of all, why are they proud of the Confederacy? Their whole premise is that people who look like me were not people. And this is the hill they want to die on. These are the rights they're fighting for. This is what they want to go back to. This is what they're proclaiming is taking their country back. First of all, once you succeed from that country, it's not your country. Okay? Unless you're talking about the South as your country, that's your country. You made that up and you want that back. But guess what? You were unsuccessful in succeeding there. You know, you're losers. You're losers. Not as a person. I'm not calling you losers like emotional. You know, like somebody goes like loser. No, I'm saying you lost the war. Okay. And after there's a war and there's a loser, we don't go around. Why are we treating the Confederates differently than other losers of wars? The way we treated the Confederates is not the way we treated the Japanese after World War II or the Germans. No, when they lost, it's just crazy to me. I mean, I understand intellectually why they did it. It's just fucking stupid. Here's another card here. GOP's red. The Dems are cyan. That's the color, CYAN. See, I guess I should show you again. See, the GOP's red. The Dems are cyan. I stormed the Capitol because you were lying. Treason's greetings. These cards are just some of the cards. Just some of the cards that are in the archives of the Politipod. You know, you can go to your store and get your January. Well, probably not now. You can probably get them now and they'd be like half price because today's January 7th. So the holiday was yesterday. You should have ordered these cards back in December so that you could have put them in the mail so that people could have had them by the 6th. Because now that today's the 7th, these cards, if you can find them in the stores at all today, because usually they take them right down and then they put them back in stock, and then they put them back in stock, and then next year in December you'll start seeing these cards again in the stores, and that's when you can get them. Like I said, I got these from the archives of Politipod. So next year, if you're so inclined to send January 6 cards, in December is when you get your cards and you send them out. Because, like I said, no matter how many of these cards you say, wow, that's a really nice card, I'd like to send this. Too late. It's too late. That was yesterday. See, these cards are probably, like I said, they're probably gone. They're probably gone. And not only that, today's a snow day, okay? Especially in the Northeast. And if you know anything about snow, when it hits hard in the Northeast, people run out to the stores and they get bread, they get milk, and they get toilet paper, okay? And so what are you going to be short on? Bread, milk, and toilet paper. But people still need to wipe their ass. So yesterday and Friday and Saturday, when people were getting ready for shit, and they realized there was no toilet paper, some of them were buying these cards so they could wipe their asses with these. So you may not have seen them yesterday, come to think of it. There's another card. You missed the insurrection, as Jake and Jelly would say. Shame on you. See, shaming you. Happy anniversary. Shaming you. See, now this card says Jake and Jelly, but his name is also Jacob Chansley. But this guy, he's out of prison now. He served his time. And he is running, or at least he said he was going to run for Congress in Arizona's 12th district. Now, being a ex-felon, he can serve in Congress. He just cannot vote in Arizona. Yeah, he's not allowed to vote he's not allowed to vote in Arizona. But if he continues to run, he can serve and be their congressperson. Now, he's running as a libertarian. Or at least he was running. He's registered as a libertarian. And what other political things he believes in, I don't know. He has denounced QAnon. And that's what I'm talking about when people grow up from being a child, okay? At least he was smart and grown up enough to say, you know, this QAnon shit, once I look at it through the eyes of a man who's had to pay for attorneys, and once I've seen the QAnon through the prism of a prison, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wacky. And I don't think I want to be affiliated with those people anymore. They're off the noodle. They're off the noodle. And so he denounced QAnon, and he got rid of the makeup, and he's trying to look sensible, and he's trying to sound sensible, as sensible as he can, to get people's votes. You see, and this brings me back to the very beginning. Why is it that some adults cannot accept evidence, empirical evidence, when it's presented to them right before their eyes? Let's say that again. Eyes. Eyes. These things here. Why don't they believe their own eyes? What makes it so hard to look at? If you came home and you found your spouse in bed with another person, how much convincing would you need to realize, to accept the fact that that's what you saw? Would you need to hear it on Fox News and CNN and CBS and ABC and OAN? Or would you catch your spouse or significant other in bed with another individual, see it with your eyes and go, you're fucking them. No, I don't need to see the tape. I don't need to see the tape. I don't need commentators. I don't need pundits to show me. I know what I saw. The two of you were doing a nasty in my bed or our bed or the floor or the washing machine or the dining room table. It doesn't matter where they were doing it. The thing is, you saw it. And it didn't take 90 hours of videotape and television to convince you of what you saw. You saw it. You know what you saw. Even if they were covered by the sheets and you couldn't tell if their genitals were actually interlocked, you know what you saw. You know. You don't need to see. You know. You just know. You just fucking know. So how can you watch all of that footage of January 6th with the police officers being beat, that woman that got shot in the face by a Capitol police officer? How can you not see all that stuff and understand that that was not a bunch of people going through the Capitol looking for the tourist destinations, a peaceful demonstration full of love, my ass. That's well, that basically is the sermon for today. What's it going to take for people to believe their own eyes and see what the 6 was all about? I have no idea. Now, I got a letter in my email, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at gmail.com. You can send letters to. I got a letter with regards to the performance that I did, Silent Night. Yeah. Can't remember when I did it. It must have been last week. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember when I did it. No, 2 weeks ago. That's when I did it. I got the letter. And it's from Zentrix Marketing. Zentrix Marketing. And it says, your music is scouted for a playlist. I'm so happy that Silent Night was scouted for a playlist. It doesn't say it's on a playlist, just says scouted. But the sheer fact that the people at Zentrix Marketing reached out to me personally, and that was personally because they said right there, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, so I know it was personal, that song is on the playlist. So thank you, Zentrix Marketing, for watching. And I am moved. I am so moved. But you can send me letters also at the same address, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at gmail.com. I thank you for watching. And on behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, and our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, especially if you're in the Northeast or wherever the snow and shit is hitting. I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox time on Mind Dog TV and on YouTube at the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll and everywhere that our word is heard. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. Fuck yeah!